I'm from Ohio, red state, father's conservative, Republican Party his whole life. I'm not into guns, I don't have guns, but I could care less that everybody had a gun. I don't think of it that way. I mean, if an idiot can kill somebody with anything, so, and again, the Constitution, you know, what is it, the Second Amendment, whatever, right to bear arms, whatever. I mean, I'm bearing mine.
I personally don't believe that guns should be legal over here anyway, but I don't think in the foreseeable future the US is going to get rid of their guns because of obviously freedom to bear arms and etc. It's very fundamental to Americans. So I think you should get a lot tighter gun reform, a lot more licenses, and get them off the street. Yeah.
Yes, I think. Well, we've just gone through a disaster in New Zealand where 52 people were killed in a mosque attack. Straight away, we've got relatively good gun controls as it is, but we tightened them up. I'm an avid hunter myself, and I only need one bullet at a time. Semi-automatics up to 5 bullets is fine, but general public having fully automatic guns, handguns, is just, to us, is ridiculous.
I actually believe that the positive side of the Second Amendment is that we have an armed citizenry, and because of that, we'll never be invaded. Nobody's ever going to invade this country with an armed citizenry. But I clearly think that guns should not be in the hands of people who can't responsibly use them. Does that make me against gun control? Am I for gun control? It's a tough one.
Absolutely. I do agree with the Second Amendment that, you know, the citizens' right to bear arms was there during a time when they could not trust the government, and they're worried that if they would be invaded, they would be able to protect themselves. But in the correct day and age, I don't think we really need to carry guns with us at all times. For me, what's more important is that people who are I don't want any more lives lost because some people thought that just because they have a gun they can shoot someone else. Just because someone with issues against the world thought that they could go and shoot a bunch of people. So I totally believe in gun control. Not only gun control, I believe that people that want to carry a gun should first be licensed, should go to school for it, should educate themselves on the benefit of it and also the cons of it, should also be required to go through heavy psychoanalysis to make sure that they have the mental capacity to carry a gun.
Yes, please. My God, it's absolutely terrifying. I'm from Connecticut, as I said, and when Newtown happened, it just rocked everything, and the fact that shootings are still so prevalent in this country, even after that happened, even after little kids were killed, I think that we just need something to change drastically. Please, it is a safety issue. Yeah, I don't understand how it's still up for debate.
Yes. I think that, well, I'm from Florida, so I had a lot of friends in the Parkland shooting, and I think that it's important to ensure that people don't have their hands on weapons, especially at such a young age. I also come from a country where guns were taken away for the mere purpose of ensuring that people were put down and that they weren't able to rebel against a government. So I also understand the opposite side, but you need to have a balance of both. You can't just have anarchy and you can't just have dictatorship. And I think a balance of that is gun control.
Yes, coming from the Canadian side, it's kind of we have our own issues with that, and it's kind of it's a real big issue right now, especially within cities. Like there's a lot going on about handguns, and many people, including myself, feel that there's not really a reason to have them within urban areas, and it kind of poses more problems than it solves. In terms of gun control in general, just like sociologically speaking, that's like the best way to reduce gun crime would be gun control. And to me, it seems like there is a really big need to reduce gun crime. So the two and two together.
I'm a physician, without a doubt, 100%. Could not possibly believe in more gun control, having seen teenagers die, pregnant women die, babies die, children die, being in cities that are plagued with gun violence. I think it's unquestionable that we should control guns.
That's a good question, but I really don't have a standpoint on it. I believe
you're smart.
I believe there should be some type of law, some type of control. But at the same time, I feel like they take away our ability to defend ourselves. Who's to say what type of tyranny, can just fall upon us and we have no type of way of defending ourselves. So I'm kind of like in the middle of it. I mean, because nowadays people, have access to weapons, but they're not the people that we would want, I guess, defending us. They're using it more for a personal gain as a, something to defend our community with. But it's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, because in the Netherlands we do have gun control, and I think, like looking at it from the Netherlands, I'd say it's pretty dangerous here with the guns being allowed in quite a lot of states. Or all the states, is it allowed there? It's okay, yeah. Well, I'd say it's possible, yeah, but it is going to be hard, especially here in America.
Gun control, yeah, definitely.
I think I absolutely believe in gun control. I also believe, that Americans have the right to bear arms, but I think there has to be much stricter regulations on who can possess guns and why.
I do. Guns, they are here for protection, but then at the same time, we have to have boundaries. Anything without boundaries is dangerous.
I do believe in gun control. I mean, all these lives, all these kids who had to die because of some stupid law, I don't agree with it, so I believe in gun control. I mean, there should be certain rules and regulations that people should be held just if they're gonna hold a gun.
Yeah, definitely. I actually think that in an ideal world we wouldn't have any guns. However, we're kind of too deep and it's kind of too embedded in the American ways, where banning all guns is never going to happen, at least anytime soon. But you travel to a bunch of other countries and guns are completely illegal in all sense of the word, and they have drastically lower crime rates. I think there is a nice middle ground where we can have gun control and make everybody happy. I know that the vast majority of Americans actually want solid gun control, and it's just a handful of politicians that are getting paid a lot of money to not make it happen.
I don't think that guns should be legal here, but it's not going to happen in the foreseeable future, so they need to keep it as restricted as possible. Yeah, I completely agree.
Hell yeah. Because too many people have guns now, and they got to limit it. It should be limited to each household should only have one rifle and one firearm.
Well, any country needs strict gun controls, and people need to be vetted, and I think in New Zealand we're quite proud of our gun controls, although we did have that terrible tragedy, and our Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern took swift action to shut down any of those semi-automatics.
Yeah, gun control is one of the issues that I really believe in. I like to say occupy the NRA and abolish guns, because a lot of the shootings we have now, it all goes back to the National Rifle Association, that guns are the biggest problem here in America.
Yes, absolutely. Because there are certain guns that should be controlled, like military guns should definitely be controlled. We're not, we're living in urban cities. There's a police department, there's a police force that maintains peace, and so we don't need military style guns to be in an urban setting. I don't think that people shouldn't have the right to have guns, like in Middle America where there's wilderness and stuff like that. Definitely, shotguns, yeah, but not military guns.
I feel that people should have the right to have guns with proper use, and they should be able to protect themselves.
Yes, I do. Yes, I believe you should have boundaries with gun protection, gun control. So if you're not able or fit to handle a gun, I don't believe you should. If you are, then yes.
Yes, I think it should be regulated, and the ability for people to have guns should be more vetted more. I think that is important, so that way guns don't get into the wrong hands.
I think it'd be difficult to totally regulate, like take away the guns. I think
Right.
That'd be too, like,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word, divisive. Like,
Right.
But definitely reform is needed, like some sort of control, training, vetting. Like it needs to improve.
Yes. Because there's too much insanity in this country with mass killings, and we've become numb to it, and it's time for it to come to a halt and stop.
Yeah, because not everybody with a gun knows how to control the gun. At least if you have a license to own it. I understand the preservation of hunting, but not to self-preserve your own race to kill people. That's just unfair for me.
Honestly, I feel like if there is, you hear about this becoming like a fascist type of country, where there's only one side that is able to have guns to use on people. And if that's the case, we definitely need guns. And we have every right to learn how to use guns, but there's a lot of, history with guns in general. Like when it was first made, that started so much war, because you can't stop a bullet the way you could stop other things, And, the government has been planting guns around different neighborhoods since like the 80s, the 90s. So, even though that kind of contradicts me believing that we shouldn't have gun control, it just proves that sometimes, the corruption and the problems we have with guns is planted by those that are trying to ban guns. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we should be sovereign and be able to learn how to defend ourselves, especially in, a society where the government is actually attacking us,
Yes. I think at least a bit, like to a certain amount, like, for the people that want to keep them, I guess, like, it's fine, but, like, there should be more, like, of a, regulations or things like that could possibly, because I feel like America is just really big on that aspect of, a life. And, yeah, I feel like in other countries, things like those school shootings and, so many innocent people, like, it's just not fair.
Yes. I think there's evidence from what I've seen of countries with better gun control, where there are less crime rate and less accidents and less deaths related to stricter gun laws.
I do. I feel like in some areas America was renowned for like basically sending guns out to other areas. Like for instance, Mexico. Like Mexico has only one gun shop in the country, and America's like, I would say some high number, like 70% of their guns are purchased by America. So when America take an impoverished area that is poor, that has no means for, like, they have to fend for each other, scrap around for scraps. It's like putting guns in that kind of environment could be detrimental. So it's like, it depends on, I feel like if we do have gun control, there should be like regulation. Because if there's no regulation, we'll send it to areas that it could become chaotic, it could become detrimental, so.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I believe in gun control. I don't think we should have guns on our streets. That's it's kind of as straightforward as that for me.